Hi everyone, welcome back. How's everybody doing out there? We're going to be making some brownies today, some frosted chocolate thick chewy brownies. They're soft, they're everything you'd want in a brownie, so let's just get started. Here I have 1 stick of butter, real butter, of soft butter. I chose butter because I do have oil here too, and if I use margarine, I know that's got a lot of oil in it too, so I'm going with real butter, and that's 1 stick, and then I have 1/2 cup of canola oil. I use canola. If you have vegetable, that will work. So it's 1/2 cup of each, and to that I'm gonna add, and that's soft butter there, guys. To that I'm gonna add 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar and 1 3/4 cups of granulated sugar. Okay. I'm just going to get this kind of smashed down and get that mixed up. Okay, I got that mixed up just until it's creamed. It only took me about maybe a minute. Don't got to be perfect. Now I'm going to do 1 egg at a time. Get it mixed in really good, because once you get your flour mixed in here, you don't want to keep stirring it, because then you'll have a tough brownie. So get the eggs mixed in now instead of trying to get them mixed in to when you get your flour in, because once that flour is put in there, you don't really want to mix it up too much. So make sure here you get it mixed up really well. But I'm going to drop 1 egg at a time here, and that's 4 whole large eggs we're going to be putting in there. Alright, I got that all mixed up. My 4 eggs in there with that. Now to that I'm going to add 2 caps. I always do the caps because it's 2 teaspoons. But I like to use, and in my brownies I like to use the Mexican vanilla. But if you can't find it, regular vanilla will work. A lot of the Dollar Generals and stuff like that, or is it the, I'm sorry, Dollar Tree carry this, I believe. I got mine at Walmart. So just 2 caps. 2 caps of vanilla. And make sure your eggs are at room temp, guys. Okay, should have brought that up in the beginning. Get your oven preheated to 350, alright? And I got me a 9x13 cake pan. I like to foil mine. That way there's no mess, and you can pick those brownies up out of there holding on each end of the foil. That way you ain't got to worry about it, and you get a nice clean cut on your brownies. So get you a 9x13 with some cooking oil, and I just put some cooking oil in there and just spread it out with a paper towel. Okay, now into the same bowl, and it's a good thing for this too, you get to mix it all in one bowl. We're gonna get some flour, 2 cups. Loosen up your flour, fluff it up. You don't want it real tight. Don't pack it. If you have to, spoon it in by the tablespoon into the measuring cup. So you're going to add 2 cups of all-purpose flour in here. 2 cups. Leveled. And then make sure you don't pack it. So there's 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Alright, and next to that, on top of that, I just got my little old salt shaker. I'm just going to do a couple of shakes, that's it. Just a couple of shakes, not even 1/4 teaspoon. Way less than that. And to that, I'm going to do a 1/2 cup of 100% cocoa. Which I use the Hershey's, or I will use the Ghirardelli. This is good cocoa. And now to that, well actually I'm going to stir this up. Well actually I'm going to do 1/3 cup of mini chocolate chips. These are Ghirardelli, but you can get them in the Nestle's or your choice. And you can, if you don't want these, leave them out. But I would suggest, if you're going to leave the chocolate chips out, put another heaping tablespoon of cocoa after that 1/2 cup. Just a little bit. But if you don't have them on hand, you're like, I don't have them, I can't make them. You don't need them. I have a 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts. You don't need the nuts if you don't want them. I got a lot of nuts around here. Okay. Now, I'm just gonna mix this up. Not going in stir crazy. Just want to mix it until everything's combined, and we're going to get it in that pan. Just wanted to see there, it's all starting to come together. And that's it, it's mixed up. Good enough. Okay, I got this poured in there. I usually just use my good old tablespoon, just level it out how y'all want. But just get this in there, make sure you have it even, and put it in your preheated oven. Make sure it's preheated to 350, middle rack, and mine usually take exactly 21 minutes. And that's in a 9x13. This is the only size pan I've ever used, so if you have questions on, you know, what about an 8x8, 8x8, or 9x9, that I couldn't tell you because I've never made them in there, but it would definitely take longer to cook them. So here though, 9x13, this will take, in my oven, it takes 21. So I would go with 20 to, don't over bake them because they are going to look underdone, because these are like a fudgy brownie. You're not going to, don't wait until, oh, because they're going to harden up as they set. They will firm up. So don't over bake them. That's important. So I would say tops 22 to 23 minutes. They are done. So we're going to get these in the oven. Mine take 21 minutes. Middle rack. Now, meanwhile, while those brownies are cooking, I got 6 tablespoons of butter melting there on the stove. Be careful not to burn it. It's real butter. And to that, I'm just going to add 1 heaping tablespoon. 1 heaping tablespoon. See there? Just a heaping tablespoon of cocoa. Of your cocoa. You can get your Hershey's or whatever. And just mix this up until it's your cocoa and your butter is all mixed together. Let it cook for maybe a minute. Keep stirring it. You don't want it to burn. Do this on a medium heat. Probably 30 seconds actually, not even a minute. And then to this, we're going to add in a 1/2 cup of our vanilla. I'm going to turn that off. About a 1/2 cup of vanilla. And then we are going to add 2.5 cups of powdered sugar. You want your consistency not real runny, but let's get some powdered sugar added to that while it's still warm. Alright, got my 1/2 cup of vanilla there, 1/2 teaspoon. Now I'm going to put in, there's 1 cup. But I'll see what we end up here. It's usually about 2.5 cups to maybe a little bit less than a 1/4 cup of milk. Okay, I put my 2.5 cups of powdered sugar in there with that butter and cocoa. Now you're just going to stir it all together. And if it looks too runny, just add some more powdered sugar, because our powdered sugars are all different. Depending how, you know, it's stored. Mine's just in the bag, so I want it a little bit thicker, so I'm going to add a little bit more. But I did not even use a 1/4 cup of milk. Half of that 1/4 cup I used. But it just depends on your powdered sugar. But I wanted you to see the consistency, and this is about right. That's about how you want it. So a little bit less than a 1/4 cup to 2.5 cups of powdered sugar. Now, if this starts like firming up, I always just put it back on the burner, because this is like a warm fudge. topping for those brownies, and it's so good. Now, you can cut these wherever you want, but I like to let them set the next day because that icing gets nice and firm on them. But if this firms up, just set it on low heat. Get it warm again until it's spreadable consistency. And we're waiting on them brownies. Okay, they're done. Mine actually took 24 minutes this time. So like I said, keep an eye on them. Don't overcook them. We're going to get the icing on them. I usually let them cool at least 25 minutes. Then we'll get that icing on them. Alright, these are cooled. I actually let them sit there for about a half hour. I got my fudge icing here, which you can see how thick it is. I just warmed it up a little bit more. You do want it more thick than thin, definitely, because these are brownies. You want this too. It kind of firms up overnight. Let it set at room temperature, but if it's real hot in your house, stick them in the fridge. They come to room temperature really well after being in the fridge, because it is, you know, butter and chocolate. If it gets too warm, it gets too soft. So I like them cold or, you know, at room temperature. They're good either way. But now these will slice up really nice. If you want a nice, you know, if you're doing these for like a party or anything presentation wise, just stick them in the fridge and you'll get a clean cut, which is what I'll do. But I'm going to get this spread out even as possible. That way we all get the same amount of chocolate. Now what I like to do, and you don't have to do this, but I like to drizzle while that fudge icing is still soft. Just a few walnuts on top. Put many as you want, or none at all, your preference. But I'm going to get these in the fridge chilled. That way that icing sets up nice and firm and I get more of a clean cut on my brownies. We'll get those cut up. Okay, now I've kept these in the refrigerator probably about an hour and a half actually, because I wanted this to get nice and firm where I'll get a clean cut on these. But now the best way to store these after you cut them that I've found, and it makes a world of difference on a brownie, put them in little Ziploc bags or sandwich bags, because all that moisture stays in that bag, and that gives you such a moist brownie, and it stays fresh for days. And they're so much better if you put them in the little baggies versus containers, because a lot of those are not tight sealing sometimes. But if you put these in sandwich bags, they stay nice and moist for probably at least 5 days. So I'm going to get these cut up in little squares. Cut them how you want, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on that about storing them. Put them in some little sandwich bags or some Ziploc bags. Okay, now I wanted to show you too, if you're looking to get a nice clean cut, you know, put them in the fridge like I said. Now I've got these cut. Now what I like to do is every time I go to cut this, kind of get you a long knife for these. And then once you bring that knife, kind of scoot them side by side. See I'm wiggling that knife. Bring that knife up and wipe it off. It'll give you a clean cut on those brownies. Alright, there they are. And you can see they're nice and moist and fudgy looking. See there? And that icing just sets up perfect on those. It's nice and firm on there. It's a very moist brownie, but like I said, put them in some little baggies. They'll stay so fresh that way. You know, all the time and effort that you put into these, and they're really a good brownie, so keep them fresh, you know, if you can. And these freeze well. They do well, like I said, in the refrigerator. If it's pretty warm in your house, stick them in the fridge, you know, overnight, whatever, and a couple of hours before you know you're going to eat them, set them out on a countertop. They do well. So there they are, you guys. Please like and subscribe as always, and until next time, enjoy yourself a good brownie with a cold glass of milk, and we will see you guys later. Have a good evening.